Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Honey. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. I am excited to come to you today with a quick video. Y'all know I love talking to y'all, and I really haven't been on the grid too tough outside of my regular shows, Housewives of Potomac and Power. I kind of been slacking up just because I've been super busy at work and just tired when I get home. But R. Kelly has come out with a song today, supposedly, allegedly, seemingly admitting to some things that have been said and implied about him on your World Wide Web. Now, of course, your girl Miss Honey wanted to come out here and talk to you guys about it because, one, I think that it's important for us to come together and sort of rightly divide what is happening here. And you know, we love to talk about it down below in the comments. You guys are smart. I have just a particular type of tribe that follows me. You guys, no matter whether you are young or you are midways or you are over halfway there, one thing remains true is that I've got some really smart and very decisive people that follow me, males and females, and you guys know how to rightly divide, chop up, and pull back together and really discern what may or may not be going on in a situation. So I feel comfortable here. I feel like there is no other venue in which I can discuss this situation and have a more intimate conversation than right here on Miss Honey's channel. And I thank you guys for tuning in. For that purpose alone, if you are new and you want to get in on this thing, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? Wipe your feet at the door. You know what I'm saying? Come on in, sit down. We'll scooch in and make room for you. Okay? Welcome. All right. Of course, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It's important. And of course, let's talk about it down below. Now, R. Kelly drops a song earlier today called I Admit. And supposedly, like I said, he's admitting to some things that have been said about him out in social media and the blogs and so on and so forth. I did not listen to the video right away because I was very busy at work. I knew I couldn't concentrate on it. And even if I was able to listen through to it and pay attention and take notes and in its entirety, the song, I was not going to be able to captivate how I felt in that moment in video. I had to wait until I got home and it was quiet and I'd had half a glass of wine and I could concentrate, right? So like I said, I didn't watch the video. I did read a couple of things about it on Twitter, and I didn't watch the video of his song. I read a couple of things about it on Twitter, and a couple of people were saying that they like the music, they like the melody, they like the beat, you know, they like R. Kelly's voice, but they didn't necessarily like what he was saying. All very valid points. I grew up off R. Kelly's music. I know how, even no matter what the beat is, I know how the introduction of his voice changes things. I know when you hear his voice, there is something about his voice that makes you feel physically good, you know, in love, or it sort of soothes maybe a wounded heart, if that's what he's singing about. You know, he has a way about him. I never really paid it much attention. I knew that it was, even though I had sort of drawn a line in the sand about how I felt about R. Kelly and said as much so on a video that I did about him and the pimp spirit, when this thing about him having this harem of hoes, that's kind of judgmental, this sort of concubine, I guess maybe that might also be judgmental. I don't know. This group of women that were being held captive and not allowed to have cell phones or leave the house or dress the way they wanted to or talk to men or speak out loud, you know. These group of women that were indoctrinated. I said my feelings on that situation. I talked about the spirit of the pimp. I stand by that video. Even with all of that, I also did a video on his wife when she came out and talked about how he was so abusive that it made her want to kill herself. And she was very emotional on camera, and it was supposed to be a moment. I talked about how I felt about that. I stand by that video. But even with all of that, I have found it difficult to completely divorce myself from R. Kelly because he has some really, really great songs out there. Yeah, there's very few songs for R. Kelly that don't get you ready for something. Ready for the club, ready for the bed, ready for your anniversary, ready for romance, ready to step. Like, you know, it was very difficult for me to divorce from R. Kelly's music, divorce the man from his music. I felt challenged with that. Today when I heard this song, when I heard the melody, when I heard the tonation of his voice, it made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it. And I really think a lot of that has to do with the fact, one, what he's singing about. There's nothing about it that says love, even though the beat still wants to be in love. Or his voice that says love and kindness and just, you know what I'm saying, healing. Like, it's nothing about what he's singing about. It doesn't match the tone of his voice. It corrupts the tone of his voice. It demonizes the music. It demonizes the melody for me. I felt like it was hypnotic. I felt like it was purposely hypnotic. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, if you're not careful, you'll fall in love with that beat and you'll just begin, you know, taking it all in. So there was that, you know, that may be considered a little bit flaky, you know, I don't know, spiritual, whatever people want to say. I'm just telling you how I felt. Okay, the content of what he was singing about, for me, demonized his voice, demonized his melody. And it made it, for me, I felt like he was trying to convince me of something. He was trying to make me believe, make me accept something, what he was saying. The next thing that I noticed was the fact that he admitted to a lot of stuff, most of which was pretty salacious. Some of it was sad. You know, so some of the things that he was singing about can definitely provoke a feeling of empathy, of sympathy. Okay. He admitted to a lot. He admitted to, well, first of all, let's talk about what the word admit means. I like to do this because I don't like for people to make this broad assumption that because I'm of a certain demographic, or because I'm a heterosexual female, or, you know what I'm saying, because I'm not current, or I don't know, you know, people make all types of broad judgment because I might be overweight, you know what I'm saying, that I'm hating, or that I got a problem with, or I'm naturally bitter. Let's just do straight facts. What does the word admit mean? A-D-M-I-T. It means to confess. It means to, I got it written right here, be true, or to be, it says confess to be true or to be the case, typically with reluctance. Synonym, that is a word that means the same thing, but it is spelled differently. Confess, acknowledge, own, concede, grant, accept, allow. Admit is a verb. It's an action word. Okay. So he admits to being illiterate, not being able to read or write. I don't think he can write. Not being able to read, not being able to spell. He admits that he lost a lot of money because he could not read, I think, or write or comprehend. He admits that he was taken for a lot of money contractually and by managers. He admits that he doesn't own some of his earlier bodies of music, works of music. He doesn't own them because he didn't know how to read contracts well. And he signed stuff and it was a bust. You know what I mean? Like, they got him for his music. He admits that he wants them back. He admits that he's tried to get the music back, but he has been unsuccessful. He admits that it pains him that he doesn't have his art. He admits to having been molested as a child and having lost his virginity to that molester. He does not say whether his molester was male or female. He admits that he has not seen his children in many years. He admits that he can only imagine what his children must think of what people are saying and accusing their father of in the media. He admits that he has loved women, both young and both old. He admits that he's a freak. He admits that he messed with one of his boys' girls. He admits that he had a girlfriend and he messed with the girlfriend's best friend. He admits to drinking and smoking and doing drugs. He admits to getting supposedly drunk with Wendy Williams. We now know there was only one drunk person in the room, and that was obviously R. Kelly. Because Wendy Williams remembers everything and regurgitated it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kept it in her arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Different story, different day. He admits that he took on women whose parents had a financial agenda and wanted to use their daughters as bargaining tools. He admits to this. He admits that he's lost thousands and millions of dollars. He admits that he's broke now. He admits that he has to stay on tour. He admits that he dwells in this sweet spot of music because outside of that, he is uncomfortable for one reason or another. He admits to these things. What he does not do is take any accountability. Let's talk about what accountability is. Accountability is the fact or condition of being accountable. Responsibility. Synonym: responsibility, liability, answerability, culpability. I guess you got lawyers you can trust now. Because you don't take no accountability, probably because of the liability and culpability that you would take on, but also because that's really not who R. Kelly is. It's presented in this melodic, hypnotic tone as though he's really saying something, but it's all salacious. It's all bones and crumbs. There is no meat here. The true meat, the real story would have been in him being accountable for not having seen his children for many years, accountable for the fact that he can only imagine how they must feel, that he doesn't in fact know because he doesn't talk to his children. Okay. You don't take accountability for these women. Okay, you do, however, admit that their parents are wrong. You don't admit you're wrong in that, because see, you could have taken these girls from their parents, from these predators, from these foes. You could have taken them in and taught them how to write music. You could have taught them how to play the piano. You could have taught them how to run a sound booth or produce music. You could have taken them on and taken them under your wing and created some wonderful, wonderful creative beings, functioning adults. Okay, you admit to drinking and doing drugs, but you don't admit to the herpes, okay, that you have spread. You don't admit to that. You admit bringing this young woman on stage and this whole convoluted story about it. You had a friend in the car and they took out the car and brought on the stage and had a car. Like, I don't really know. I don't really know what the hell. If this is a woman that the girl that he urinated on, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this story of all you pulled out there. Maybe because it is this girl, and we found out this girl was what, like 13? Whether she lied about it or not, don't matter. You admit to have been taken advantage of because you can't read or write. You take no accountability for the fact that even though you have dyslexia, you can be taught to read. You can be taught to comprehend. You can be taught to function as an adult, and you took no initiative to get that done. Even after the third and fourth time you were taken for your papers, for your art, for your music, for your legacy, you never took responsibility for where you were falling short and rectified that situation by getting yourself together educationally. Fantasia did it. Now, Fantasia wasn't dyslexic. She was just illiterate, but all I'm saying, where's the accountability, R. Kelly? I hear you admitting to a lot of things. I don't hear you taking accountability for your bull crap. And until you take accountability, I can't really hear you. I really can't hear your music. And after today, I can't hear it the same. I cannot. I cannot. You see, this need of yours to put this music out, to sort of try to direct or drive the narrative of this story of what's really going on, what's really, really happening in and between the lines of your life, slipping in and out of the notes of every song that you sing. Your inability to take accountability for these things. I cannot accept that. I cannot accept that. It makes you that much more of a problem for me. It does. Okay, and when he talked about, and he said it a couple of times about the fact that he can't read and can't write. He was at the BET Awards and he couldn't be a presenter because he couldn't read the teleprompter. All right. If you can say the word teleprompter, if you can sing the word teleprompter, you can be taught to see a TELEPROMPTER properly. Okay, I want you guys to really think about how much time, how much energy, how much ingenuity goes into hiding the fact that you can't read. Building a musical empire, a lot of ingenuity goes into that. Okay, writing music, being able to hear music. Like, you have the ability to be taught. You have the ability to learn. And you never once took responsibility for where you were falling short. In all, lo these many years, as my grandmama would say, lo these many years. Same thing with your children. When you go to speak about the women's parents, I can tell you this because I am a parent. You have no leg to stand on. Like, there's no room for you to talk. because you haven't taken accountability for being a parent. You can't hold nobody else's feet to the fire about parental responsibilities when you yourself, sir, are not taking any parental responsibilities. Okay? Accountability is a noun. It's a people, place, a thing. Okay? Admit is a verb, an action word. What's so ironic is the word that actually denotes movement, action, which is the word accountability, there is none. But the word that seemingly has movement, seemingly denotes action, has no movement in it at all. There is no movement to admitting. There is to verbally admitting. There is no movement. There's no change in the spirit. There's no correction. There's no turning around, about face, and doing things differently. There's no redirection of negative behaviors. There's none of that. All of those things, all of those movements, all of those actions are really housed in the word accountability. But in the word admitting, all we doing is saying, hey, you caught me. I acknowledge this is true. I am not accountable, but it's true. I don't take responsibility for it, but it happened. And you package it all up and you glide it in on a beautiful melody and a sweet sounding voice. I am not buying it. I do not accept it. La 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 la. Call a thing a thing. Call a thing a thing. Okay? Call a thing a thing. Don't ride in on emotions. Don't ride in on beats. Call a thing a thing. He does not admit to giving and receiving herpes. He does not admit to this. Okay? He does not admit to being an aggressive, controlling, oppressive individual. He does not. He does not admit to those things. He takes no accountability for those things. He packages it. I know I'm a freak. I've drank. I've smoked. I've enjoyed myself. I've spent money. I've given money to the community. I've given back to the community. Also victimized a whole body of women and turned them out into the world. Some diseased, some broken and wounded, so bad they'll never recover. Some who are now predators and bringing other women in to other cults. No accountability. Let him starve. Let him go hungry. Let him be cold. He's not putting that money into his children. He's not putting that money into building the community. He's not putting that money into building the characters of other men. Okay, lifting the spirits and the esteem of women. Let him starve. Let him go hungry. Let him go without shelter. Okay, because this is how we turn and change. Okay, if it wasn't for hardship, if it wasn't for falling, none of us would ever get back up. If we always stayed upright, we would just think this is the way that it is. No, you must fall. You must be culpable. You must be liable. You must be held responsible. It is the only way you learn that the things that you are doing, the behaviors that you are exhibiting are wrong. I don't care about him admitting. I want to hear about accountability. Okay? I'll come back and talk about R. Kelly when he makes a song about being accountable, about being responsible. Everybody is not lying on you, R. Kelly. Everybody is not out to get you, R. Kelly. Okay? You are responsible. You are culpable and you are liable for some of the things that have happened in your life. And it's time that you admit it. That's all I got for you, honeybees. You guys tell me what you think. Put it down below. Let me know. Y'all know I'm here for it. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah.